Hello, and welcome to another amazing episode of Lotus Rising. We're here with Jen Mirambeau. How are you?
Great. Feeling very empowered today.
How's your day been?
It's been really interesting. I have, as we already talked in the car, so I've had, this is why you're laughing, I know, had a really beautiful breakthrough on my clarity, truth, and empowerment, and really stepping into that and literally feeling what my body feels like when I step into that center of truth within myself, something that I've been really scared of, and I'm really ready to step further into my alignment. And I feel clear, I feel energized, I feel back in my center.
Completely, and I always feel your clarity and your energy, and that you go places and you do things and you uplift people's spirits. And with that being said, I just wanted to ask, where did you grow up, and did you travel a lot growing up?
Yeah, so I grew up here in Miami, Florida. I didn't travel a lot growing up. I mean, my parents would take us to like Disney World. We went to Hawaii, Disney World every year. Went to Hawaii once, and I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And then we didn't go anywhere other than Disney World until I started really getting inspired to travel after college, or a few times in college. And then once I graduated, I was like, I've got to go on freedom trip. Like, I graduated in 2014 from the University of Central Florida, and I was like, I have to go be free. There's something in me that I don't know exactly what it is I'm chasing, but like, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm on my way. So I literally, exactly, like I just felt it so intensely. Like, I felt so confined by my family life and just the society that I was living in here.
And confined, I'm like,
yeah, I was just like, I have to figure this out. There's something guiding me.
Yes.
So I left on a road trip with my friend on Independence Day, so Freedom Day, 2014, and I went on a cross-country road trip, and that was when I just got super inspired out in California, all the states on the West Coast, and Colorado, and I was just like, whoa, like there's something here. Like I at that time, I was starting to tap into yoga, spirituality, mindfulness, and I started really feeling the energy was a bit more like elevated and prominent in that way out west, a bit more mindful, so I just really gravitated towards California and Colorado. And immediately when I got back from the trip, I was like, I have to leave Florida right now. Like, there's something for me over there. And I moved to Colorado. I stayed there for a few months, and I was like, I still feel like there's something, I gotta go to California.
Yeah.
So then I moved to California, and really things just started picking up for me over there. That was when I kind of quit my more of like a corporate job and started. Yeah, I mean, I was just like, this isn't, I'm not able to do the things I want to do. So I'm just not happy, and
female empowerment right there.
That was when I started going to music festivals, and from there I started really tapping into myself as a dancer, as a mover, someone who understands the body awareness, and I started healing in many ways. Like, I was overcoming different layers of fear, things that were going on inside of me, and I was really undoing a lot of what prevented me from really just being myself. I used to be totally scared of dance. Like, I remember like my 8th grade dance, even my prom, like, I was just like, I didn't know how to move. I thought like dancing wasn't for me. I was just completely like, no, I was terrified of myself, essentially. Terrified to express myself, terrified to be in my sensuality, like just very disconnected. And that's our life force energy, that's our kundalini, that's everything. If we're not connected with our sexuality or sensuality, then we're essentially like not at all living in our creative flow, and that's what I felt, very stagnant and blocked. And once I started opening that up, I was like, wow, like dance is everything. Like, this is medicine. This isn't just for professional dancers. This isn't just, no, everyone is a dancer. We're all dancers, whether we recognize it within ourselves or not. Like, it's medicine. We've evolved through drumming and dancing, our ancestors and drum circles. Like, that's how we release trauma. We're not like animals where when a traumatic thing happens, we shake it off and then we're done. No, like, we'll literally store that energy in our bodies until we can find a way to shake it out and come to our truth. And that was when I started realizing at the music festivals, and from there just kept traveling different countries.
Powerful statement.
Yeah,
no, I could definitely relate, just in the aspect of being very scared of doing what you love because of just fear and just judgment from others, but at the same time you wanting to do it so badly. Because I remember when I would go up to sing and I was terrified and I'd shake and I'd want to take drinks just because I felt so nervous that I couldn't do it without that. But then I think later on in life we kind of learned like the more natural, more
be able to go into a space and just honor myself and not have to worry about the judgments of others. What is this person thinking of me? Because then I'm literally giving all of my power away to them. If I'm like concerned about, oh, I'm moving like this because this makes me feel happy, but I'm concerned about this other person, now I've literally taken all my power, given it to them, and I have nothing for myself.
Exactly.
And really, like, this world depends on us following our desires and our truth. That's how, like, the universe expands. And I've been listening to like all these different like videos on that now, and it's really interesting to hear and feel what that feels like in my body when I start honoring that in a way. Like, I literally feel myself expanding, and since I am connected with the universe, I literally feel that it is what we need to do, at all of us as individuals, and that's how we stay in flow state.
Of course. And do you travel a lot for business?
Yeah, so now it's been, once I started discovering the dance aspect, then I started tapping into fire dancing. And from there, I went to Burning Man, and I got really inspired, and I was like, wow, there's all these people here
When did
dancing
you go
with
to
fire.
Burning Man?
The first year, I've been 4 years now. I'm about to go my 5th year.
Wow.
The first time was in
I
2000. Thank you.
I thought you were just gonna say you went 1 year.
No,
You're like,
no.
I go every year. We're about this.
Yeah,
life.
like it's like a leveling up
Oh
every
my
year.
God.
Yeah.
You are the most badass fire dancer, like female empowering woman I've ever known. I don't know anyone else that I can say. Is that cool? To be honest. But no, that's exciting.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're excited to go to the next one.
Yeah. Well, it was at the first Burning Man that I saw fire dancers, and I was like, whoa, like, I'm so inspired. I watched them in the flow state. They're doing all this sacred geometric patterns, and I literally started like, I literally felt like my third eye opening. Like, I was like, there's
Through
something
the fire dance.
through the fire dancing as they're tapping into their flow state, me being so present with them, not just like kind of looking and being distracted, but like
being in the
focus
moment.
with it. I was like, whoa, I'm in flow with them. Like, I could see them. They're like downloading codes for me.
Wow.
Like, I started like
That's so
understanding
powerful.
things, and it's like what we do is like we make these sacred geometric shapes with our body and connect with the element of fire, connect with each other. The more things we can connect with in the flow state, the deeper the flow goes.
This is Lotus arising. This is sacred geometry. This is the Fibonacci sequence right here. This is like
It's so
all
deep.
of it in dance and in the elements of life, right? That is so exciting.
Yeah.
So how long have you been dancing?
Yeah, well, that was 2015 when I really started dancing. The first music festival I went to was actually when I was in college, and I started like feeling the beat of the music. Like, I feel like I didn't even understand what the beat was until a certain moment where I was just like, oh my god, I feel it now, and I'm like letting go. But it really wasn't until 2015 when I started going to those music festivals, and then after Burning Man, I was like so inspired to do the fire dancing. I was like, next year I'm gonna be next to these guys fire dancing, and I was like, I practiced. I went
Completely
to
manifested.
yeah. Literally the guy who inspired me the most. I remember being in the fire circle, and I turned around, and I was like, oh my god, that's him. Like, what? Like, this is really happening. And yeah, I started learning the fire dance when I was I started practicing a little bit. I had learned different props and stuff, but it really wasn't until I was in South America and Central America that I started practicing with the fire, practicing performing at different places in Guatemala, and that really inspired me to take it to the next level. So then when I got back to the States, then I started traveling to different music festivals again, and this time I was actually on stage performing. And I went to Burning Man and performed a few times there, and this year I'm actually going to be spinning fire at the actual man, where in Burning Man at the very end, they burn the man, and they have fire dancers around the whole circle doing a choreographed performance. So all of South Florida is there, or all of South Florida performance fire dance group is there, and we're gonna be having our own dance together, and we get like, discounted tickets and stuff for it. So it's like a nice special event. It goes on. So
How was your experience in Guatemala?
Guatemala, wow, that's a really high energy space. Like that, I was really coming into.
Should we go there? Should we visit?
Yeah, everyone go to Guatemala. Lake Atitlan is a really magical vortex of.
It sounds like.
Yeah, Lago Atitlan.
Draw me in, just like.
Yeah, and there's amazing healing centers over there. Different people to connect with. Everyone, like, I feel like your tribe. This whole like mindfulness, yoga, movement, freedom, dance, culture. In some way, a lot of people just gravitate towards this lake over there, and there's like an up-leveling that occurs.
Like how I was telling you about the Jackson Wall Springs and
yeah.
So it has
that's
like
another.
vortex
A lot of
feeling,
people actually who I met in Guatemala, I saw Jackson Wall Springs. Like,
Really?
yeah, and different festivals in California. There's also places in Bali that we kind of flock to. It's really interesting to see these little hubs around the world. It's a global community.
And that's so inspiring. I mean, do you recommend for people to like to travel and to experience these vortex or this healing energy or different retreats or meditation groups?
Definitely. And every city, mostly from now on, there's like different meditation groups and yoga classes to start going to and healing centers. That's great. But when you really travel outside of your hometown, of your city, wherever you're living, and you go into another country and connect, it's really powerful.
Can you cheers to that?
Yeah, please. This tea needs to be drunk. It's so good.
You don't need to be drunk. You just need to drink this tea.
Yes. But the tea needs to be drunk by you.
By you. You need to be
Yeah.
high on tea, on Lotus, on life, on good energy, on good frequencies, on good vibes.
So good.
So when did you graduate from the University of Central Florida?
Graduated in 2014, right before I went on Freedom Trip, and it was really interesting. I started off college very disconnected from myself. Like I was saying, I was totally scared of dancing, totally scared of expressing myself, and I was like, I don't know why I'm in college. I just know I had to get out of my house. I got to get away from my family. Like I felt very restricted and confined, and I just felt like I had completely lost myself, and I didn't know who I was or what I was going to do with my life.
Yeah.
So I went to college just like, my major is undecided. And I started meeting some people that were really interesting for me, one in which really opened my eyes to really what's really going on in the world, what's really happening, what's really in our food, what's really in our water, like what's in our air, like
the truth.
And I was like dumbfounded. I was just literally like, her name was Lacey, and she just would blow my mind every time we'd hang out, and I was like, this is really what's going on in the world, like this is what's happening, like basically everything I was told is a lie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, like wow, this is really interesting.
All
like
the programming and deprogramming.
Yeah, and it was so easy for me to just be like, wow, I get this, like this makes so much sense, like I'm here to understand this and to help facilitate consciousness, like elevate consciousness through myself. And I didn't know exactly how I was going to do that. Later on I found out through yoga, dance, movement, all these things, but at the time it was just like, this is what I have to do. And I was like, well, I don't know what to study right now. I don't want to just like study anything. It has to be something towards that. And I actually took this astronomy class once, and what was really interesting about this astronomy class was the way that the teacher explained climate change. He was like, put a little bit of carbon in the atmosphere, you put a little bit more, and all of a sudden, you put so much, hopefully you can see this, put so much carbon in the atmosphere, and one day it just disappears.
And
like
if you
it's
didn't,
just, it just falls off the planet, and everything goes into dust, goes gone, because we live in such a delicate climate. Like you can't just keep adding all the, like we live in such a delicate balance of this earth that too much of anything in life, as a rule of life, is toxic.
Yeah.
So we're literally like toxifying the planet by all the things we're doing with the fossil fuels, adding too much carbon into the atmosphere,
alcohol consumption.
Overpopulation, overfishing, over farming, just like everything. And I was like, whoa, this is really interesting. Like I want to learn more about this. So I started studying environmental science and a little bit of psychology and sociology, but my main focus was environmental studies, and I was learning really about what's going on with our climate, what's happening with climate change and all these things. And when I realized that all these people who are funding these massive companies who are destroying the planet, they're not connected with themselves, with their own inner balance and harmony. Because
their spirit.
If we're connected with our spirit, our inner balance and harmony, we don't want to harm the planet because we recognize that we are one with it.
Yeah.
Everything is one. We're all one life. So from then I was like, okay, like, yeah, I want to help the planet, and I have to do it through helping people understand themselves. And that's where I found out about dance and connecting with our true inner selves, overcoming fear, diving into our alignment.
It's important to find balance and to find like peace within, in a chaotic world where there's so many voices and judgments and energies and just destruction and chaos. It's the reality. It's happening in the world. There's things that are not so positive happening, but as long as I think we could remain positive within, and then things that you are a part of, that you understand that when you open up your mind and your body, and you move a certain way, and you release certain then that's the balance within the flow.
Right. And the more people who are in balance within the flow, then we create balance on the planet, and that's how we heal. That's how, we create balance.
When did you graduate from Yoga Union?
Last year. So I did yoga teacher training in Bali last year, and it was like a 1 month intensive. We did like every day almost, and we were there studying, learning the asanas, but not only the biggest thing that I learned through that was so many times when we're here and we're in the city and we're thinking of yoga, we just think of the actual postures, the physical, like downward dog, the plank, all these things. But yoga is actually a series of 8 steps, and you go through the steps in a process that leads you towards enlightenment. And so the first 2 are really coming clear on like what it is within yourself, what you need to understand about yourself, your relationship with others. And then it comes in the asana practice, which is the physical postures when you're in those warrior poses and everything. So that gets your body ready, prepared. Then to start preparing your mind for meditation, you start to do pranayama. So that's a breath work. That's when you're focusing your energy on the breath in order to calm your mind, to concentrate, and then to be able to maintain a state of where you withdraw your senses and you're focused completely on your meditation. And then the meditation is that last step that leads you into oneness, enlightenment.
Wow. I almost felt like you just brought me into that right now.
Yeah. It's the eight limbs of yoga. And many people don't know about that because of yoga, you just think of yoga like I'm going to class and I'm going to do that and I'm stretching my body, but it's so much more. It's really, really deep.
I would have to definitely say, based off my experiences of taking yoga at the YMCA for a year, and then taking yoga again with another instructor, and then at home practicing my own yoga, and then watching YouTube videos and doing yoga, and this, what I found was, and also doing women groups, hanging out with a few friends, and we'd meet up at a park and we'd get together and we'd all do it together. It's just, we really were in tune with ourselves and connected with our spirit, but in tune with nature at the same time. Like when the wind would blow, we'd take a deep breath and we'd feel that same synchronicity with those elements of life, and that connection again is what centers us and what balances us, and definitely far beyond just doing a downward dog or a pose. It's like you feel something within you, and then you learn how to breathe, and you learn how to control your breath, and then you learn how to balance, and then you learn how to control your thoughts within that. It's just as simple as that. People have so many toxic thoughts in their mind, and they're so chaotic and destructive, but if they were to find that center and that peace and that balance, and they get rid of the toxic mind.
Yeah, speaking of the toxic mind, I've moved through mountains of toxicity within my own. I grew up in a household that was very much fear-based, and when your parents are living more in fear and you're in a state where you're not fully trusting and given the guidance and the nourishment to go for your dreams, and even if your family is really loving and I love you, but there's this thing that I can't, you start to develop these toxic thoughts within yourself, and that's what it all originates from. It's our own how we were grown up. And
So true.
For me at least, I really was into my body as a kid. I was scared of dance, but I just loved to play. And then I really wanted to just climb and be free and trust myself. My family was always no, don't do that, you're gonna get hurt, and always put this you are not safe, you need to be watched, you need to calm down, in order for me to get love from them.
It's a fear-based mentality.
It's a fear-based mentality, and they loved me so much that they were in fear to protect me. But that doesn't.
They thought it was out of love, because I know that feeling just from growing up with a mother who grew up in a communist country in Cuba. So I think that comes with the fear, but it definitely it's not easy, as a child.
Yeah. Exactly. And then I was just like, but I just want to not do that. And then
No, stop.
yeah. And then, you know, my father was also very controlling, so then there's that aspect of like just really butting heads, and I really developed a lot of body armor. Like I developed like a layer of protection to protect
Like a
myself
shield
from
around you.
this person who really loves me, but then also is like yelling at me all the time and all these things. So I really understood that, like coming in through yoga practice, that wow, I've developed this like alternate personality almost that protects me from my inner truth. And that's really what you discover in yoga. We all have something that has happened to us in our past that's been traumatic. I don't think there's a single person on this planet who's lived a perfect life, who's had every experience, and they're just like, I'm totally free. Like our work is to undo what happened when we were a child and recognize that that's our work in the world to share with others and to connect. And so that's been the biggest things for me to overcome. And then recognizing like that tension gets stored in our bodies, around our hearts, in our different chakras, and then being able to detect that and move it through.
And
so
find
that we
out
can,
how to release it.
yeah, that's the whole yoga dance movement flow journey.
Flow. And when did you create Genergy and Flowga?
That was after, like, I think my second Burning Man, where I was like, whoa, okay, like, see what I gotta do now, like, let's do it. And it definitely took, like, I thought I was ready back then, but I had really just started dancing, fire spinning, all these things. Like, I had the, like, drive and the mindset back then, but I hadn't had so much experience in what I was doing, so that it took a lot of, like, okay, I gotta, like, take a few steps back, train even more, really like get the shit out of my body, harness, because I also had like a major knee injury that took my body in like crazy amounts of imbalances that I didn't even realize were still affecting me, that in order to be able to be at the level of which I can operate at, that I know I can. So I was like ready to go and just like inspire the world, because I was like, oh, I just got the Burning Man, and like I get it now, and I see my purpose and my truth. But I really got to put in the work and the time and the effort into my craft and my art. And so it took a few years of like, all right, I'm just like in it, and I'm studying. I studied yoga. I read a lot of books on chakras, energy healing, prana, our life force, breath, and just kept practicing through my own movement practice at ecstatic dance, at my own place, going to yoga classes, and just practicing the flow arts and going to festivals. Like it was like anytime I'd go to a festival, I would just really tap in for like a few days, just drop everything else, work, whatever it was, and go for it. And so that was when I just started leading different classes at festivals, at different places around cities that I lived in, and just kind of built it up slowly from there.
And would you say that's when you became a body alignment, energy yoga healer?
Yeah, because then through that knee injury that I had, I was like, well, my physical body is also really out of balance. There's the energetic aspect, and then there's the physical of like I had this injury that I need to understand how to rebalance my body from. And that was really interesting, being able to use the energy healing to tap into the physical and heal something that I thought I would need surgery again for, which I had once.
And you didn't need to?
No, I'm like good. Like I literally like 2 years ago, I could barely walk. Like I honestly like couldn't bend my knee. It was really bad, and I was like about to get surgery again, and that was when I was like, look, I'm gonna do this on my own, and I'm fully confident. There's a lot of times that I started doubting myself. I was like, well, maybe I should have gotten surgery, and I'd go into this tumultuous like, what's going on? But then I was like, ultimately, like if I trust myself, I know that I can do this without surgery.
That's amazing. I'm very proud of you.
Thanks.
Congratulations on that. That doesn't seem like something that is easy to do at all.
Yeah, it was scary.
I'm curious, and I'm sure everybody wants to know if you have any plans, like any future plans or any recent plans, upcoming plans to travel for either business or pleasure.
Yeah, I'm about to go on a trip to California. I'm going to take some time and really just be in the mountains with myself in Mount Shasta and just ground in and connect.
That's awesome.
I'm really excited for that.
Can I be you?
Come.
I'm there next year, guys. No, that's amazing. Exciting.
Yeah, and then right after that, I'm going to Burning Man again, which I'll be performing, and I'll be leading
Fifth year?
Yep. I'll be leading some workshops, performing, and then just diving into the dance. I really up-level every year I go and connect more with my own inner guidance and truth and personal dance. And so it's always really inspiring and empowering. Then I come back, and I've got some new interesting opportunities that are arising here. Going to be having some
what
more.
What are those new opportunities? We all want to know.
There's an event actually, and there's a few things. So I connected with someone today, so it's a little bit too soon to tell, but a really cool show that I'm going to be on.
What show is that?
It's a show. It's actually on NBC. Definitely Miami, and it's just talking about what's going on in Miami and how to show something unique and cool. And this guy saw the fire dancing and was really inspired by that and really inspired by the message behind it, really, and wants to interview me and do a little video.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And that's going to be happening when?
That's actually, it's looking like it's going to be this weekend.
Oh,
really soon. I just talked with him on the phone, so we're putting it all together. It's it's amazing. I'm excited. And then I'm also helping produce an event in New York City called Wild Vessel. This is something that I've worked on before, and it's really talking about, this event is for all of us to go and step into our balanced and empowered masculine and feminine energies. The men and the women get separated at first, and the men have like a men's circle to come in to talk and do exercises that bring them in further into their balanced masculinity along with their femininity, and then connecting with the women who will be in their own women's circle, connecting with their empowered feminine and everything like that. So it's a really beautiful event that we get to do in New York. And actually in between all of that, I'm going to do a 10-day silent meditation retreat called Vipassana in Georgia.
Wow.
So just kind of stacking all my travels in the next few months and then coming back here and grounding in everything that I'm doing.
Of course. And then what part of Georgia what's that going to be?
I believe it's I'm not sure. It's a retreat center that I have. It's in a small town.
You get back to us.
I'll get back to you on that. But honestly, it's a free.
Not trust her, guys.
It's a free silent meditation retreat. You can sign up in advance online, and I hear it's really powerful. I've known many people who've done it, and you literally just go and sit with yourself for 10 days in pure silence, and you're not really encouraged to talk to anyone or do any sort of movement. You're just in stillness.
It smells good in here. I just want to know, like, what are your actual plans? What are your plans like for? Where do you see yourself in the next, 5 to 10 years with everything that you have going on?
Yeah, so I see myself leading more workshops, more classes, really speaking about all of this in a more like a public setting way, getting the message out into people who don't normally understand a lot of these things, who can really benefit from the expansion of just truly connecting with ourselves, letting go of limiting beliefs, and what does that look like for our lives when we come into that, and what does that look like for the planet. So putting on more events, ecstatic dances, classes, and performances, all to go towards that goal.
Amazing, incredible. I'm just in awe. But your energy, your presence, and everything that you're bringing to this space and just to everyone around you. It's all exciting.
Thank you.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
And last but not least, tell everyone here on Lotus Horizon, where can they contact you for booking, for fire dancing, or just where can they contact you to reach you?
Yeah, on Instagram, I'm Jenergy_flow, so that's Jenergy_flow. And I also have jenergyflow.com, JENERGY flow. Thank you. I'm really grateful to have been on the show
Thank
and
you so much.
connected with you and for you reaching out to me. It really means so much,
Yes.
and I'm so grateful.
Many blessings to you.
Yes.
Namaste. Until we meet again next time here
Stay magical.
on Lotus Rising. And don't forget your